I can't believe that I missed this trailer. I am a huge fan of the original Grid. Grid 2 was kind of okay. I loved the TOCA Racedriver series from, of course, Codemasters. Now, Codemasters was bought by EA. Then that was last year, right? And there were some concern that I had on the channel on whether or not their Formula 1 franchise would be ruined by EA. And I gotta say that it was actually a decent game, and it's a game that I still play. And the thing is, when you are bought or backed by a large company, by EA, either they want to have a quick return on investment via loot boxes, or they think that maybe they can make more money if they invest a little bit more to have higher quality games, which is what we saw with the F1 game, because they invested in that scenario, that campaign, which actually was pretty good. And it seems like here in Grid Legends, I watched the trailer yesterday and I was very surprised. It seems that they're going to be taking that direction too with grids, as it's for the first time in the series. It seems like we are going to have an actual scenario with character development, progression. Now, of course, in Grid, the original Grid has sort of a progression with your own stable, and you were building your own team with your own liveries, and give you feel that you were really owning that team, and that the progress was meaningful. Something that was lacking in the other game, especially the last game, the Grid from 2 years ago, which I absolutely roasted on my channel. I think the review, I gave it a 6 out of 10, which was pretty bad. So hopefully this time it's going to be more interesting, more immersive, and we're going to check it out together before we talk about Star Citizen here. Electronic arts. Yeah, electronic arts, that's something that we have to get used to when it comes to Codemasters. And I think that they're putting their names a little bit too much, but that's my opinion. Now, look at that. This is awesome. This is awesome. We are having actual actors. And for the first time in the Grid series, we are going to see the faces of the names that we see, when we are driving against other NPCs. We just see the name of the NPCs. We're gonna see their faces for the first time, and just that as an original Grid player, I find quite exciting. Now look at that. Let's have a look first at some of the locations that we see before. We know that among the city that we'll be able to play in, there's going to be Los Angeles, which can maybe this. Oh no! I know what it is. I know what this is. This is. Of course, I could be totally wrong. That is obviously London that we are looking at here. And here is full of crap, because this is Buckingham Palace in London. But Paris is also going to be in the game. Oh no, this is actually Buckingham Palace. Oh well, never mind. Now, other locations here, there's a mountainous circuit here. So, some of the locations apparently are going to be fictive, not necessarily real, but they are going to be matching locations that could be real in real life. Now, there is Moscow. So we had a lot of London here. Now we're having a look at Moscow. And there's more of that circuit in the mountains. Looks like we're going to have hypercar and endurance series, which does make sense, because especially the 24 hours of Le Mans have always been one of the staples of the Grid games, and was maybe the highlight of any season in the original Grid. So it's great to see that this series is coming back. Hey, Dr. Forbin is here. How are you doing, Doctor? Doctor, we're going to talk about the Star Citizen right after I finish with Grid. This, of course, this segment is going to end up in the Eradicators channel, the other channel, where I talk about everything that is non-Star Citizen related. I gotta give some love to the other channel too.
Dozens of drivers, only one can become champion.
My name is Yume Tanaka. My goal is to become the first woman ever.
Racing games are cool indeed, and I really like it. I think it's really cool that they're bringing real actors to illustrate and portray those characters that we've been encountering in the game, and I really appreciate that. Now the thing is, because we see a lot of diversity, in this trailer so far, and normally I'm the first one to say that, oh, this is forced, or this doesn't fit here. I think that for Grid, it totally fit and it totally makes sense, because Grid has always had drivers from all different kind of parts of the world. We've always had Japanese drivers, European drivers, American drivers from wherever locations possible, so that totally makes sense. I'm all in favor of that. Just like, in real racing series, you have people from everywhere around the world. It totally makes sense, and that is a welcome move, I think.
Win the championship.
Oh, she looks really badass. she looks like a racer you don't want to mess with. Very determined. Very great acting here that we're looking at here. That, to me, that looks very convincing. In the eyes, look at that in the eyes. They can see that need for speed. That very cool. Yes, I know who you are. He is the guy. He is the guy who's always been the hardest player, the hardest NPC to beat in the Grid games. And we finally get to see a face, on that name. And to me, that's really exciting.
I'm Nathan McCain.
Yeah, there we go. Nathan McCain, yes. He's always been the toughest SOB in Grid games. And I'm glad to see that he's got this arrogant, confident looks. I like the long hair too. Very cool.
5-time Grid Series world champion. Soon to be 6 times. That's a new record.
Oh, look at that. We're having vintage games, obviously. Looks like we're going to have San Francisco, a classic track in Grid Motorsports, obviously. Now, one thing that I was not a big fan of, especially the last Grid, I thought it was a disaster. I think this is London again, because there's double-decker bus. Okay, I will stop talking about locations because I'm getting them wrong all the time. But one of the things that I was not a big fan of in the last Grid game were the driving sensations, which felt very sluggish and I didn't feel that connected to the road. So to speak, it felt like the cars were a little bit too floaty. So I hope that they fix that in this Grid game here, because the last one wasn't so great.
If it's Grid legal, I can build it to win.
Oh yeah, DTM.
Muscle cars, open wheel, drift.
Best team. Best car.
Seems like there are lots of different characters here, and I like that they are bringing all of the different types of categories. These are all classics of Grid, and of course, it wouldn't be Grid without all of them being put together here.
Money by having the guts. So if these idiots can't keep their cars on a track, it's their problem.
Now, this here, what we're looking at, is quite exciting, because I think that's the first time in Grid that we're going to have mixed category racing together. Look at that, we're having trucks and open wheel racing in one race, plus some GTs in the back. So it's like an open race with anything where anything goes, and I think that these are going to provide also with some really exciting racing, especially in multiplayer. I think that that's also going to be a lot of fun. Oh, look at did you see that? Did you see how wrecked that little open wheeler got by the trailer? That's how it's going to be. Plus, seems like there's going to be damage as well in the game, which has always been a staple of Grid. Cars in Grids have always taken some damage, unlike, for example, Gran Turismo, where cars are basically indestructible. So that is also something that adds to the immersion and realism. Sure.
But you're gonna get somebody hurt. Hopefully, it'll be you.
Well, look at that, some intensity here between between various characters. I like that. I like that because it gets you more into the shoes of the character, right? You want to be standing for what you believe in. Either you'll be standing for this one, or if you're a big fan of Nathan McCain. Oh yeah, it's on.
Bring it on, baby. That's why we're here.
I like that. I like that. I like the idea of having some sort of reality TV, the way it is filmed. Yeah, they've basically been filming those cutscenes the same way they've been filming the Mandalorian, you know, with huge green screens that are actually projecting the background so that the actors really feel like they are into those environments, which is definitely going to add a lot to not just our immersion, but the immersion of the actors. And if the actors feel immersed and they really believe that they are into that world, then it's going to also help us, the players, to feel immersed too. So definitely something that I'm looking forward to. Oh, the damage model really seems exciting. So Grid Legends, there we have it. It's coming next year in 2022, and it will be coming on PC and on consoles as well. It is made by Codemasters and published by Electronic Arts. You can be sure that I will be looking forward to it, and I will be covering it on the channel. Anyway, guys, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. This video is brought to you by the people who support this channel on Patreon and via the join button as well. Supporters of the channel get access to lots of cool perks, such as access to my private Discord, your question answered in the show, you get to know when I'm going to play, and also you get to have a chance to influence the editorial line of the channel. Any help is appreciated, starts at just $1 a month. Thank you very much for watching. This is The Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later.